This is going to be basically how we can go through and start to mass deploy software, how we can mass run scripts, and automate different tasks across endpoints where we see room for being able to drive efficiency. So one-to-many is a framework that's broken down into a task, which is what would you like to accomplish, and then a plan, which is how would you like to accomplish that. Within this framework, you go in and create the task, and basically you have a lot of different options in terms of what you'd like to do. And this is really similar to having group policy-like capabilities because we can do everything from running remote commands, that can be in the PowerShell language or the command line language. We can also install or update software or even uninstall software from here as well. We can run batch files or executables. We can update registry settings. We can also distribute files in mass, which allows for us to be able to specify the destination folder. We can create that folder if it doesn't exist on the endpoints and overwrite existing files if we need to. For the Macs, we can install or update software with DMG files, and we can also run terminal commands as well. So the whole concept behind one-to-many is being able to take what would be a manual task and being done on multiple endpoints and being able to automate that and then being able to do that across multiple endpoints without ever having to touch them physically. So one-to-many is one way that we can automate things within the environment. Another way that we can automate things is by setting up proactive alerts, and that gives us the ability to be able to monitor the endpoints for specific activities, such as are we looking at disk space, computer online, offline, monitoring CPU, or memory. So there's a lot of different conditions that we can monitor within the LogMeIn central environment, and that really gets us granular and down to the Windows Event ID. As we set up an alert package to monitor an endpoint, we can go through and then layer that up with different rules in terms of the different types of things that we'd like to alert. That could be everything, as I'd mentioned, from online, offline status to looking at hardware, CPU, memory usage, disk space. We can also monitor system information. So if we need to look at folders or file sizes or applications or system services, we can monitor those as well. Most organizations have a system service or an application that's running on a server somewhere that if that service or if that application happens to stop running, or if it happens to crash, it's probably going to cause some sort of downstream effect that's going to impact either the users or the customers potentially. And from here, basically, we can set up an alert to instantly notify us, for instance, whenever that service crashes. We can also monitor things like Windows events, so anything from a system, a service, an application layer that happens that Windows has visibility into, we also have visibility into. We can also monitor hardware, software, so if hardware is being added or removed, if software is being added or removed, or user profiles are being added or removed, we can notify you of all those. And then finally, if there's any sort of threats being detected or any sort of pending updates or reboots that are necessary, we can also get proactive about notifying you of those. Now, on top of being able to monitor the endpoints and instantly notify you whenever a condition is met, we also have this capability as what's known as a self-healing alert within Central, and that allows for us to be able to go back to our one-to-many scripts or commands or PowerShell commands and be able to then trigger those whenever an alert is triggered. An example of this would be if we're monitoring a system service and that system service happens to crash, we could have a script that's ready to net start whatever that particular system service is to automate fixing that problem. We could do the same thing with monitoring things like free disk space, where if the C drive goes under a certain percentage, let's say 5% of free space, we could then also enact a script to maybe defrag a drive to free up some space, or a script to clear user and system temp files, again, to free up some space. So the whole concept behind a self-healing alert is not only being able to monitor an issue, but being able to implement a fix and automate a fix or a portion of the fix whenever that does happen, again, to help drive efficiency.